What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another deck profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and today I'm going to be going over the Lilith 2-dot deck that I played for the Budget Battle Campus Championship. If you like this deck, two things. Number one, you can check out all the matches that it played right here on the channel. It'll have its own separate playlist that you'll be able to find, as well as you can find this entire deck out on RochesterCCG.com. They sponsored this entire tournament, and so all of these decks should be available out there. RochesterCCG.com. There'll be a link down in the description down below. With that, let's jump into it. All right, so this is Lilith a 2-dot. If you have not seen one of my deck profiles, as opposed to just reading off the cards verbatim and telling you the numbers and so on and so forth, I'm going to tell you more how the deck wants to operate, how the deck wants to work, as opposed to what cards are in it. So what does this deck want to do? So this deck wants to take and play some... Lilith as a whole makes all of her 3 damage attacks very, very beefy by checking this 5, giving it plus X plus X. X is the number of cards in your card pool, as well as once per turn committing one of my foundations, turning off one of my opponent's cards or one of their attacks. And so I'm stopping your cool things. I'm making all my little attacks very, very big. The stats that we get on top of Lilith are very strong, and essentially she just says +1 difficulty for +1 or +2/+2, right? So if I've got the way that you can think about it, if I've got a card in my card pool and I play an attack, the attack's not on a 3, it's on a 3+1, and because of it being a quote-unquote 4 diff, it's now a 5 low for 5, if that makes sense. And so depending on the +1 difficulty that we do for cards, she gets bigger, better, stronger. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the attack. We're playing under the Earth symbol today, and the first 4 we're playing is 4 Surprise Soul Flash. What this card says is while it's in the card pool, all my other attacks get +1 damage. This is important for 2 reasons. Number one, it itself has powerful, which we have some interaction with that, and it just sits in my card pool and is like a little baby Lilith. It is a guaranteed plus damage, so it makes my later attacks even scarier. So maybe they don't block the Surprise Soul Flash. It's also low. Our zones are highs and lows in this deck, so we got to try and catch them with a mix-up, as well as it's got a really gnarly block, and so I want to block with this card and then play a reversal that is going to get +1 off of Surprise Soul Flash, as well as extra stats off of a Lilith on my opponent's turn. Put some real pressure on them there. Up next, we're playing the other 4 of in the deck. We're playing 4 Swallow Your Soul. The main reason this card's in here is it's just a throw. It's a throw, and it gets absolutely massive. Inside of Lilith, this is like your 3rd card that you play. Maybe we've got Surprise Soul Flash in our card pool. Maybe we don't. It gets +3 extra damage off of itself, and it gets 3 extra damage off of Lilith. This is a 9 damage throw, and it also gets the 3 speed from Lilith. So it's like an 8 low for 9. It does not have a very good block modifier, so we do have to be careful of that. But with that said, if you can make this, if you can hit with this card, you're going to get a momentum, and as I said, we're playing powerful. This card's just like a really good combo piece. I like it a bunch. Up next, speaking of powerful, we're playing 3 Focus Charge. This card says that my next attack this turn gets +3 speed and +1 to its powerful rating. So it says Surprise Soul Flash is a powerful 3, and it says our next card is a powerful 4. Pretty good stuff. As well as +3 speed means that whenever I do get my damage buff off of Lilith, that attack is more than likely just going to stick. The attack that we're talking about with a powerful 3, soon to be powerful 4, Focus Charge, is a Dad's Great Shears. It's really good on the reversal. It's not amazing on our turn, but it's good enough depending on the number of cards we have in our card pool with Lilith. 3 low for 3 reversal. If it's played as a reversal, my opponent destroys a foundation, so a ready foundation, excuse me, so we're getting rid of one of those resources. And then the powerful 3 on my opponent's turn, giving it +X speed, +X damage is also very solid. Really good utility card for the budget we have. Next, we're playing Triple Akimbo. This card's just to play as a singular attack. It's more than likely going to get blocked just because of the way that Akimbo normally plays out. We play like a bunch of foundations and then play the Akimbo. And because of the way that Lilith is worded, she does not say attacks in the card pool. She says cards in the card pool. And so I'll play 3 foundations, play my Akimbo, and then check on the 5 with Akimbo, draw 3 cards, check on the 5 with Lilith, pass it, get +4/+4 because it's a 3 statted, as well as another 5 damage because of the foundation that's going to be at the front of the card pool. This card is just basically a take another turn card, or make sure that my defenses are solid enough on my opponent's turn. Really solid stuff. And the last deck we're playing is a 3 Deflection Swing. This card is the other reversal that we're playing, hopefully to make it nice and big. It lets me pick up a face down, and that's neat. It did not have the value that I wanted it to have. There's some other choices that we could have made instead of this spot, but I think for the price point that we're at, I think this card does its job. It says essentially just says draw a free card, and if we have any face down committed foundations, we have some flip stuff in the deck. We get to reuse those we get to reuse those resources as well as build more for trying to push a little thicker into a turn. Onto the foundations. We have 4 main roles when it comes to foundations inside of a deck. We have aggressive foundations, defensive foundations, flow foundations, and then disruption foundations, and I've listed them out as such. So the aggressive foundations are for freeing the relics. This card is mostly in here for the aggressive plays of commit a foundation. Your 3 damage attack, it's +2 damage. It does have some defense with the minus speed, but that's not really what it's here for. I will use that ability less often than I will for pumping damage, because just in case I miss off of my Lilith +5 check, committing a foundation, committing 1 foundation for +2 damage as opposed to committing 2 foundations for +2/+2, sometimes is worth it in the long run. Up next, we're playing for Fusion Refusal. This card is a playable while committed, so really good off of the response on Lilith to commit the Fusion Refusal, as well as stuff this guy in your card for +2 or -2 damage. If we use it on our attack for the +2, it doesn't count as progressive, and it counts towards a card in the card pool with Lilith. So instead of giving +2/+2, maybe this is +2 damage off of itself, and now it's +3/+3 from Lilith. Really, really solid card. Up next, we're playing double Carry the Legacy response card pool. After an attack is played, it gets +1 or -1 damage. We want to use this on our attack turn. I want to stuff this in my card pool, and now my Surprise Soul Flash gets even bigger. It is a response on play as opposed to a static like Surprise Soul Flash, so we do have to make sure that we declare that we respond. It doesn't just automatically happen. It's one of the biggest issues with carrying the Legacy, is it's not a thing that game state can go back to. You have to choose to respond. As well as it does have a little bit of a defense, a little bit of build, and the reason it's mainly here in the aggressive spot for aggro is the enhance, add this card to your card pool, add 1 other foundation from your card pool to your staging your face down. I guess we can consider that flow a bit, making sure that your engine in your deck works. It essentially just re-readies a foundation, but it seals that foundation. It's okay stuff. We're playing double Memories of the Fallen Warrior. This is in here, honestly, just because it's got a really cheap block, as well as it's just free stats. After attack is partially blocked, +1 damage. Seems really good, especially whenever we have throws and reversals in our deck. Up next, on to... Oh, we're still on the Kill You cards. We're playing for Second Saintly Beast. Like we said with the Carry the Legacy, is the name of the card? Yeah, Carry the Legacy. This has the ability to minus speed, but mainly we're just trying to make our attacks stick. We're throwing a lot of resources into singular, maybe 2 attacks, and giving the plus speed might be the thing that, once again, makes the attack stick. If we miss any attacks hitting in this deck, we're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage just because of the amount of resources that we're sinking into 1 or 2 big attacks on a turn. Up next, we're playing for Leading the Team. This card is a lot like the Second Saintly Beast because the Second Saintly Beast plus is speed. Leading the Team says my opponent's block modifiers are +1, which essentially says, well, it's in the card pool, all my attacks get +1 speed. The math is a little different, and block modifiers are harder to interact with, and so this card is just better than that. But the disruption of Response Destroy, see one of my opponent's assets or foundations is not necessarily great. Assets are all over the place especially in more high budget decks, and so this can be an answer to that, but it's not a very good one. Speaking of block modifier manipulation, One with Nature is fantastic. Just I've got these cards in my hand that are not very good. These foundations are not killing you. Well, now with One with Nature they are. +2 my block mod response, +1 damage. This is the most expensive card in the deck, if I recall, and it is well worth the price tag of like $1.50 or something like that. Super, super good card. Sad it's going to be rotating soon. Onto the flow cards. We're playing double Dreaming of Becoming Whole. This card just readies itself back up. My whole game plan is to be playing these thick attacks, and the more cards that I have that this card pluses to my check and then is playable while committed, readies it back up. So not only does it count for a little disruption by being a good cost off of Lilith's response, but it is also very good for I will smack you once, grab my momentum, commit this in order to pass a check on the 3rd attack in my card pool, ready it back up, plus to my check. And so essentially I've just readied 2 foundations. And you can trigger the response if you just discard a singular momentum. And so not only do we have powerful and its ability, but we have powerful and its ability to re-ready it back. As well as we have in the same vein Hell's Reach. It's a little more flow. It's a little less reusable than Dreaming of Becoming Whole, but its cost is a little easier to obtain. It's just flip ready this playable while committed, whereas Dreaming of Becoming Whole can be playable multiple times. This is just a once per game because we're flipping it. Up next for flow, we've got the Folktale Storyteller. As I said, we're playing a bunch of really thick, long chains, and so I want to be able to play my Folktale, mill my, discard the top 3 cards of my deck, and then build it in so that now I can play these foundations. The thing is this card doesn't stick in my card pool, so it doesn't really work off the aggressive play for Lilith, but it does make sure that my engine is nice and clean. It's kind of like a bit of oil, as well as it's really good for stopping Breaker. It stops the disruption, which is why it's flow. Up next, we're playing in the defense. We're playing 3 Toughest Pumpkin Junior High. Response flip before I take damage, reduce it by 3. I do only have 26 health. That's not the most for a 16 size character by far. And once it is face down, it is a really good bait to respond and commit. I also wanted to be able to have reusable face downs because of deflection swing. More defense, we're playing double cool and focus. It's pretty much a free block, especially against a multiple. The discard the top card of your deck is irrelevant. This card just says, hey, if I want to make sure I can guarantee one of these blocks, and so maybe I'll seal your attack and then let that one hit me, and the next one's going to be have a good effect and increase its speed. Well, I'm going to essentially seal that one too. We're playing Double Betrayer of the 12. This is more disruption than anything, because the main reason I put this in the deck is I wanted to have my opponent start flipping some of their foundations. I think one of the big things that these budget decks have is a lack of disruption, so that the end of the profile will be a little bit of that. After my thing's not blocked, I flip one of theirs. If it was blocked, I get to draw a card. Is that how it works? Yes. After the attack was blocked, draw a card. Yeah. So if they don't block, which we're hoping to do with Lilith, I'm going to make them start flipping their resources and making sure that they don't speed me out with their quote-unquote expensive good cards. They can't use them if they're face down. As well as the momentum out is a little fine, but we don't need to play that momentum out because we have this one. This is our one of our other disruption cards. 4 Voices in the Dark. Flip for minus damage is terrible, but flip, choose one of the cards and put it back in the owner's deck is fantastic. Maybe I've lost all of my main kill condition of a reversal, or maybe I need to find a throw where I can take and start putting throws from my own discard pile back in my deck, or maybe I need to check more 5s. I'll flip and put 5s back in my deck. I do have to make a cost of check a 5 with Lilith, or even better, the disruption play is to flip after they've accidentally touched me with an attack, put that back in. Maybe they're playing Shadow Slicer, maybe they're playing Punch and Judy, maybe they're playing something that interacts with their own discard pile. I'll flip the Voice of Reasons and get rid of that card. Just disrupt their line of play. I'm playing Double Venomous. After they try to draw or add cards to their hand, I'm going to destroy it playable while committed. It is the first target you always want to pick with Lilith, so that if they try to do any sort of adding, you're just like, absolutely not. Not only did I seal your card with Lilith, but now I've gotten rid of that. Really, really solid disruption card. And then my last card is Double Protecting the Protector. This is disruption to the point where it makes them not want to play things as soon as you have momentum. It says it severely slows down what it is that they want to do. It says that their disruption does not happen. So I guess we could call this flow, but it doesn't inherently help your game plan. It disrupts their disruption. I don't know where to put this card, but this card is very, very solid, really good at a 2 of inside of a deck. Yes, we are using powerful, but that's the only mechanic, and our attacks can get big enough by themselves depending on how we're playing them. So protect the protector. Make sure that your Lilith does not get sealed. Make sure that your stuff does not get committed. There was a time where I was as Lilith, my opponent blocked with a showdown, and if I just had a momentum and protecting out, the showdown just didn't do anything. And so it's important to make sure that we just get to play our cards. All right, and that was the Lilith 2 deck profile that we had here on the budget battle. Thank you very much for watching the profile, and if you liked it, make sure you leave a comment down below what you liked, what you didn't like, as well as check out RochesterCCG.com, where you can find all of these decks available for purchase, whether in parts, whether in parts, individual cards, or as a whole deck. So lastly, if you want to catch these matches live, go out to twitch.tv/TCG University every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We have a new theme and a new battle waiting for you there. So, from all of us here at TCGU, thank you very much for watching, and stay learned.